Hello, welcome back to the last but one session. We're running so far behind schedule that we're going to have to cut things as short as possible. So can I please beg from the bottom of my heart for both the online and live speakers to be as short and succinct as possible, remembering always that short presentations are usually remembered best. Now the next speaker is Ms. Theodora Georgieva, the Executive Officer and Board Member of IIIb. So on the assumption that she's on the other end of the line, and here's the IIIb project. So here we have the interconnector Greece-Bulgaria. Over to you, Madam Georgieva.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roberts. Thank you for the organizers that invite me, and I have the opportunity to share the status of IIIb development. It's a great pleasure of myself. So is it visible? Just to check.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, I'll try also to keep the timing and I'll do my best to be as short as possible. So interconnector Greece-Bulgaria is directly connected to Trans-Adriatic pipeline which makes him a part of Southern Corridor. And there is an excellent synergy enabling IIIb to be even more critical for the region, creating opportunity for transmission of natural gas to Ukraine and Western Balkans. IIIb can transport gas from various sources, including Qatar, Egypt, Israel, United States, and others. Half of the capacity of the gas pipe has already been reserved, as most traders with book capacity are completely new in Bulgaria and are entering its energy market for the first time. This is a serious sign of growing importance to the country, especially given the current development of Ukraine war. I think that, let's say, the importance of this project has increased significantly. The project has also a great synergy with LNG terminals, especially the new one in Alexandroupolis, which is going to be built by 2023. And also given the fact that DESFA are going to, together with DESFA, we are fully supporting the project of compressor station Komutini, which is going to ensure really even higher capacity than the current developed one at the level of 3 BCM. What we are driving and discussing right now together with European Union is to build a compressor station at the level of 5 BCM. So, yeah. So the current infrastructure, I think that it's well known, but just to put emphasis, the project company IIIb has two shareholders. 50% belong to Bulgarian Energy Holding, Ministry of Energy, and the other 50% belong to Poseidon, behind which we do have DEPA, who has DEPA as our shareholder, and also Edison, let's say the other part of this 50%. So we are happy to say that the financial structure is, we were struggling a lot from, as I joined the project 2015, not earlier, to, let's say, to put the financial structure under, let's say, the most competitive conditions. So here you're seeing that we are still happy to say that we are within the limits at the level of 240 million euro, where we do have 110 million euro loan under EIB loan, which is secured by sovereign guarantee by Bulgaria, and the loan is also provided with full interest to IIIb from BEH. It is 25 years on. We do have also 45 million euro grant, and we are struggling a bit for receiving another one, which we received under operation program in Bulgaria. So here you can see that really it is really the best competitive structure, not having really higher debt and not so big equity. And so that was that took a bit more time. So we run market tests, and we do have, as I mentioned, 50% already book capacity in the duration of this.
Can you move as quickly as possible to how the IIIb will change the situation in Europe? Because we don't have much time, and therefore the history of the IIIb is relatively well known.
Okay, so exempted project. Okay, so I'll skip this slide and then okay, so these are the key 2019. We can say that FID we thought the precondition has been signed and started. So where are we now? So the project is construction level is 96%. So IGB construction is progressing according to the set schedule. Mechanical completion to be achieved end of June. As of mid of June, the project, as you can see, is 96% complete. Linear part is entirely completing. All pipes are welded, lowered, backfilled, and hydro tested. Successful completion of hydro tests ensure that the facility has the necessary tightness and strength and means exceed the industry design levels. What I can share, which is the news from today, is that we do have already a successful pre-commissioning with gas from today. The news. Now what is in front of us is let's say functional tests, because we let's say the pipeline has been designed to function fully automatically with SCADA, and that is still to come. We have already tested both. We're talking also about pipeline, but with 2 gas metering stations, which has been already also tested, hydro tested and gas tested. Stara Zagora, Komutini is supposed to be tested with the coming days with gas. Yes, you can see also the pictures which are representing the level of completion. So you can see some of the, let's say, the coming construction side, let's say, challenges. But what we are aiming here is, let's say, as soon as possible, the commissioning. We do have the pass you mentioned that I shouldn't go through, although we do have 2 important HD crossing, but this is passed and has been overcome. What is still in front of us is automating and SCADA integration, which is a complex job, and that's is still in front of us. But what we are struggling, given especially the emergency, this project to be implemented as soon as possible, is first. From a regulatory point of view, we are happy to say that we do have a joint decision by 2 regulators for certification. We are going to become a separate independent ITO. Now we are waiting for the soonest for procedure to be reconfirmed by European Commission, after which we are supposed to let's say change the corporate governance of the company. What is still, so let's say, as I mentioned, some of the challenges, which is Alexandroupolis to enter into force in 2023, but even now with TEP we can really offer full capacity. With DESFA we are working very good, and we'll try to offer even before Alexandroupolis some commercial solutions with gas, much more interruptible, rather firm. And let's say opportunities are also with different as I mentioned, with increasing capacity with DESFA, if by 2023, together with Alexandroupolis, also compressor station continue to come. So these are things which are in front of us. On the top of the one which we expect right now, we started realigning processes for commission and bodies which are supposed to approve, let's say, the functioning of IGB both in Bulgaria and Greece, and our target is to do this as soon as possible. So I mean, I cannot specify the date, but really the soon as possible, trying to be August or latest September in order to enter and let's say to open the market, especially taking into consideration what's going on right now with gas and let's say stopping of gas from Russian gas to Bulgaria. The emergency of IGB to pop up as quick as possible is really important, because we are really ensuring another entry to Bulgaria at the level of consumption. Consumption of Bulgaria is at the level of 3.5 BCM, which corresponds to 3 BCM, which we are developing currently. So if there are more questions, of course, I'm open to answer. I try to be as quick as possible.
Thank you very much, and I do apologize for hustling you and speeding up, but it's very helpful, and it was very good. Can I ask for our next speaker, who is, let me get this right, Nikos Satras, the head of the Natural Gas Business Unit at Most Royal Greece.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation to speak to this very important conference. Unfortunately, I could not make it because of exceptional, let's say, last moment arrangements. But I will do keep the promise of being very short. So I just skip the presentation. I will just add a couple of points, very important ones to the discussion. Yes, the subject here is regional gas market. What I can say is that I wish we had done all these things before: LNG terminals, FSRUs, interconnectors. Really, at this moment, we needed all of this. I wish we were wiser to expedite things before. But it seems that now we are living something really emergency. I wouldn't say that we should be running at a panic mode to complete what we have done, what we have not done in the past. But it is a fact that right now, if we had, for example, Georgia Gas, which is our terminal, we're developing in the area next to Athens, in the southern, let's say, part of the system in Greece. It seems that if it was up and running today, we would really have to increase its capacity. It is designed for 4 BCM. And right now, I think the appetite would be much bigger. Why are all these new infrastructure projects so important? First, it's the new situation with the emergency of reducing Gazprom gas in the area, and also to liberalize the sources of supply, security of supply, the diversification, and everything said by the previous speakers. All these necessities came so quickly and so suddenly since last February. But it is a fact that all those let's say, reasons are driving our projects, and they make them a necessity to be realized as soon as possible. Our project is really in a very advanced stage. We have completed the engineering. We are a very, let's say, advanced terminal, also in an industrial complex next to us, where we will have the privilege, I would say, to have cold ironing and hydrogen injection points, both from the refinery, and eventually it will become a blue hydrogen through CCS technologies, but also from green hydrogen. These are plants that we are doing and we're having in our industrial, let's say, complex. So we believe we are a new infrastructure, a new FSRU that will have the ability to be sustainable investment, not a regret investment, not something that we will be thinking about in a couple of years, saying, yes, maybe in the difficult days, we wanted this infrastructure, but in the future, it's not compatible with what the climate targets are trying to achieve. So we believe we have all the characteristics to be compatible with the future. The presence is the need for natural gas. The presence is the need to have security of supply, but also the possibility to buy your LNG from wherever you want, and also to achieve the lowest possible prices, the competitive prices that end users need. Households, industries, everybody needs to have affordable energy today. I'm not saying that LNG is really at the best level of pricing today, but it really needs to have the opportunity through competition to be reduced. A couple of points that I think are needed to be mentioned is that although we are a private investor, yes, we need also to be supported. The Repower Europe program is very important. We need to have also free access to the grid, so capacity allocation needs to be improved, all these rules, and really we need to make a lot of progress into sharing capacities, sharing the pipelines, the existing ones, making very few investments and injections a priority to enable these terminals to operate as soon as possible. Then, yes, some long, short investments, maybe it should be at the second priority, but we need to prioritize what is needed to fix everything the quickest possible so that we survive this crisis, this emergency, and we can enable, let's say, the new terminals to be operating, not for the benefit only of Greece, but also of Southeast Europe and this whole area. Last but not least, I just want to announce, let's say, the open season that we're starting this summer. So we're going out to the market because this is not a private project only for Motor Oil Group, and it is an open, let's say, invitation to interested parties that have not taken part into the non-binding phase to examine their participation in our terminal, So this is an open invitation to possible users and possible, traders of LNG to come and use our terminal. Thank you very much.
Nikos Efaristo, thank you very much for a good, succinct presentation. Slightly more than 2 points, which is exactly the way it should be. Our next speaker is Robert BOSNJAK, the Development and Investment Division of Plinacro, who has been working on gas supply transmission and details in the Northern Balkans for many, many years. Robert, it's a delight to have you. Good to see you up there.
Good to see you, everybody. Nice of you to letting me speak on this nice occasion. I'm sorry for not being able to participate in the person, but I think that this is the also nice way to share the latest information from Croatia. Basically, Plinacro, as the Croatian gas transmission operator, developed its transmission network in three main ways. One is to supply gas to everybody in Croatia. The other way is to secure as much as possible security of supply and to diversify it as much as possible, both from the point of view of the resources and both of the point of view of the access or the origin of the gas. In this process, we managed to develop interconnection with Slovenia and Hungary, which are mainly Russian supply gas. And at the beginning of the last year, we connected our first LNG terminal, which is right now little less than 3 BCM of yearly gas capacity. Gas is supplied from LNG to Croatia and also to Hungary. But during our developing process, we had the policy to develop as much as possible all the projects that can increase interconnections and trade within the region, which means that currently we have in a very advanced stage developed the project that can increase significantly transmission of gas through Slovenia. This is the 70 kilometers of gas pipeline, which has a building permit ready, so it can be start developing. We also developed the project that can increase significantly transmission of gas through Hungary. This is around 300 kilometers of pipelines. Most of those pipelines already has the main design, about 2/3 of that, but while the 1/3 of those pipeline has location permit and the gas pipeline can be built very, very shortly. For both of these pipelines, we believe that when we reach the final investment decision, it can be built within the 2.5 to 4 years, all in the period of the Repower EU or the RRF project timelines by the end of 2026. We are also investigating the possibility of increasing the LNG terminal of Croatia. We are thinking about at least doubling its current capacity. This is all ongoing projects, and we are in discussions with our neighbors on how to develop that and how to speed up and finance it and to be ready to start work as soon as possible. But we didn't forget about our neighbors in the east. So we are in very advanced stage of the development interconnections with Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is so-called Southern Gas Interconnection, where the building permit will be ready by the end of this year. So if the finances will be ready, we can start building. And we are also developing with our colleagues from Montenegro and Albania IIIb project, where we are also in Croatia in very advanced stage. Half of the pipelines already have main design. The other half has a location permit and we can build. So the routing is taken care of and the environmental issues are taken care of altogether. So we can do the main design and start developing there. It can be, we see the IIIb also as very important project, not as much as important for the Southeast Europe, but it is very important for the security of supply of the Balkans. We are also thinking about connecting ourselves to Serbia, also to be able to supply gas through at the first stage through our 50-bar pipeline system, which will not require lots of investment, and later on through the 75-bar system that can supply much bigger quantities there. The major issue with the development of our project is the fact that we are not just we in Croatia, but all the neighboring countries are relatively small markets with quite a lot of market players that are not capable to and not ready to commit on long term. So we will definitely need support from the European Union, both from the organizational perspective of dealing with everything, but mostly with the financial aspects of developing that. So if there is there are some additional questions about our projects, I will be very happy to answer them. Thank you very much.
Robert, thank you very much for a very comprehensive and wide-ranging summary. And yet it was still a summary. There's a lot more that I know that you held back. Thank you very much indeed. Can we finally come to Milan ZDRAVKOVIC, who is from the Serbagas, as is the DSO, which I'm not quite sure what that is, Executive Director. Milan, it's over to you.
Good afternoon to everybody. Well, it's very difficult to be short. I'm really must at first say great appreciation and thanks to the organizer Iana, especially to Mr. Kostis, to allowing us to have such a discussion, which I'm sure it's very difficult to find these days regarding the matter. So trying not to waste the time and trying to make at least some remarks that we all hear today, and on the other hand, the situation that we are facing with. Definitely, today we heard a few paradoxes which really makes the life difficult if we're speaking about the energy, if you're speaking about the natural gas, from the point of view of the region. It's definitely not the same situation like the developed part of the Europe on the western has with the infrastructure comparing to the Southeast Europe that we are coming from. In that sense, trying to make a long story short, I believe, not mentioning again the replanning of the energy concept of Europe, etc. Definitely, if it is expected from us to make the certain effective measures and decisions, we need to know what is the idea with gas. So I believe that it is strongly required to have the proper definition and concept with gas in the middle future, because it's not a question if somebody is interested for the implementation of renewables, but Mr. and Dr. Alinas mentioned very crucial consultation after all today. Is these possible scenarios on which we can discuss for next 10 days, are they affordable and implementable? If not, who is going to say from the point of not only competence but responsibility? Is it the government? Is it the energy company? For the consumers, is it next winter or some other day? Well, yes, we did have a really precious plans, completely green, zero emission, but unfortunately tomorrow there will be no electricity or there will be no gas to provide you. So this kind of responsibility, I believe it's primer. Decision making, obviously, when we heard today a lot of experienced people in the field. Definitely on my belief is that decision making must be based on multidisciplinary experts, not on the single branch experts who maybe can only see one aspect or on one way of implementation or results. What is the crucial, the second point of view? This is just and strictly speaking from the regional aspect. For example, looking at the position of Serbia, I'm really on the same time I would like to make really appreciation, and I would like to congratulate to my colleagues and the people in Greece that really did a tremendous job to dramatically increase the potential of the options to be supplied with the natural gas. But in the same time, I would like to try to invite you. This morning, Kostis also presented one slide. It had a map with the pipelines in the region. In the same time, today, Mr. Watson says, yes, we need to reconsider the concept of gas supply toward Europe from the east and southeast and northeast of Europe. If we look for this region of ours, I'm afraid the capacity and the gas sources are not enough for this scenario. Just look, I'm getting back to Kostis' slide. If you look the routes, and we heard today. Now we heard about the report from about the IIIb implementation. What the capacity is that? We know the situation in Bulgaria, and I'm just asking you, what if? And I'm sure it will come to the point. What if there is a primer goal? And that's why I do have a respect for this. What is if the primary goal of this entire infrastructure is to supply Ukraine? With the available amounts and capacities of gas, is there any additional gas available for the further existing need and the further development need for the countries on the Western Balkans? I'm afraid not. And this is one of the crucial, I'm afraid, bottlenecks of our destiny. On the other hand, Robert mentioned that for decades it was as a result from several studies performed by the energy community. It was concluded that the present energy markets are small. They cannot be treated as a commercially profitable. In that sense, there is no interest on commercial basis to construct the pipelines. After all, did you see the financing structure of IIIb? What percentage was actually grants or loans toward the project, and what was the investment from the investor? So in that sense, we definitely need concept, what is the gas role in next 20 years as a supporting solution for the renewable final aimed vision to be as a major fuel. But we cannot jump if it's not affordable and when it's very risky, and it is risky. And on the other hand, if we do have a concept with this, then it needs to be supported, because the construction of the pipelines in the region and the capacities are not only for the purpose and the need and for the sake for the countries in our region, but to Europe as well. And if it is, let's jointly make this concept implementable. Thank you. I don't want to take your time.
Well, I am astonished and pleased at having 4 speakers all contributing so well and so succinctly. And it is much appreciated. And I hope that the audience here thinks. I will do one quick round to see if there are any biting questions that somebody wants to ask. There is one coming over from Mr. Gokanyadam. Just say it now, repeat it.
Just one question to Theodorova, Miss Theodorova. When the interconnection to Bulgaria and Greece be in operation?
Yeah. When will the IIIb be in operation? And I think we can add at what capacities. That's for Ms. Georgieva.
So, as I mentioned, we are currently under pre-commissioning process, and we are entering to commissioning process within July. So, what my expectation is that, given that we expect some certification from European Union and also approvals from different bodies for IIIb, both Greek and Bulgarian side. Our expectation and target is to do, if possible, beginning of August, if not beginning of September. So depending on how the things are developing, but we are putting all our efforts to be as soon as possible.
Thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated. And my thanks to all the panel for being so good. And with that, we have a short 3-minute break while we actually hand over to the next panel. So thank you all very much indeed, and a very big round of applause.